Hello and welcome to the Brand Central podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hayes, and we are joined today by a very special guest, a young lady who's been working hard with Pets to Go International. She's the CEO and founder. It's her baby, if you will, and our pets are our babies, but so is this company. Angelina Cortez joins us. And Angelina, first of all, congratulations to you on all your hard work and all your success. And I'm so happy for you because basically, you realized your passion at a young age and you just pursued it and now you're making money at it.
You know, yes. And a lot of tears, sweat and blood and all of that along the way. But, 20 years later, what I've been working on, which made no sense to many, is finally being requested and we're being, welcomed with open arms. So this is a great time for us.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Pets to Go International, because basically you make products that make it easy to travel with your pets. Now, we see people traveling with their pets all the time, but look, airplanes, trains, buses, folks are not always very accommodating. But you make it easy for us pet owners because we get it. Pet owners get it.
Okay, so let me just give you a little bit of backstory as to how I got started. So growing up in Corona, Queens in New York, my great grandmother she was just the patron saint of cats. We had 16 cats. Maybe about 8 or 9 of them actually stayed in the house. The rest would come and go. They'd come back pregnant. They'd ring the bell. She's like, go open the door, let the cats in. But my primary function was to learn how to clean the cat boxes. And we had 5 of those down by the boiler in the basement. And we had 2 big dogs in the backyard. So I found myself cleaning cat boxes. Didn't think much of it. I love pets, so it was just something that was part of my daily living. But as I got older, my love for pets never waned. I just always had a passion. I mean, if I'm in Walmart or somewhere and I see a cat, I go inside, I buy tuna or cat food, and I just can't help it. My husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like, let me just feed all the cats, okay? It makes me happy. So growing up in that environment and then joining the military and traveling to Europe and spending time there and also being a military brat for several years with my mother as she served in the Army, we traveled with our pets. And it was really a daunting task because you're a pet owner. You get it. You don't want to, fast your dog for 12 hours with no food, no water. I mean, you feel bad for them. As humans, we don't want to fast, right? But we do from time to time. So you don't want to do that. Plus they're moving, whether they're under the underbelly of the vehicle, of the plane, or if they're finding themselves in the cabin or in a car or a train, however your mode of transportation is getting you where you want to go, just finding the items you need, not just want, but need, is really a task.
Right. So tell me a little bit about some of the first creations that you came up with, because you created these out of basically the necessity and your experience, some of the experiences that you're describing.
Oh, yeah. So back in 2002, when I first moved to Atlanta, I got into sports broadcasting and I would get booked on independent gigs. Hey, can you come out here? Can you interview this person and go to Chicago and go to these different places, which was fantastic. I loved it. But I would bring my cat because when I start packing, she'd get in the bag. She's like, I'm going. So I'm like, okay, I call the producer. He's like, I don't really care what you do. Just make sure you're on time. So I pack up my cat. And then I, look this way, look that way, and I sneak her into the hotel. And then at that point, I realized I need to find a cat box. I need litter. I need scoopers. I need just her basic items just for 3 to 4 days. And so while I was at the Marriott, excuse me, on the Magnificent Mile, I realized, I don't know this place. I had never been to Chicago, and I'm downstairs asking, okay, how do I find a local store? I didn't want to give it away. I didn't want to say I need pet products because it's going to kick me out. But where's a local store? They're like, yeah, you go ahead and get in that cab and you tell them what you want. Well, $74 later.
Whoa.
And only $16 of that was for a cat box, litter, scoopers, and some snacks. $74. The rest was all cab fare. I was thinking, look, I'd have paid the hotel $50 for a cat box if they would have had it, you know, because it would have saved me just the anxiety of knowing that not only had I been traveling for many hours with my cats, they had been fasted, and now they're in the hotel room with no litter box.
Right.
I'm like, don't do anything, please just hold it. And so I went out, I did that. Of course, danger was averted. So I was happy for that. But I think the biggest thing I learned was that I'm not the only person that would want these types of products. Because it's not a want, it's really a need.
Yeah.
And I don't want to destroy the hotel. Of course, I love beautiful places to stay. And I certainly, as a veteran, I understand taking care of the property for the next person to come along.
Right.
And so I would never want to leave a mess. I would never leave a mess. But where do you find those specialty items in an area that's not even saying, hey, we're pet friendly? Right. So it just forced me to come up with my very first idea. It was called Kitty to Go, KITTY, the number 2 GO. I got the idea, get this, May 16th, 2003.
Right.
I remember the date. I remember where I was. I remember it was probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I'm starting to write this thing down. And I don't know anything about manufacturing. I don't know. I mean, my background was military. I was getting into sports broadcasting and acting at that time. And I knew nothing about manufacturing, but I was willing to step out on faith and just follow that yellow brick road. And I'm glad that I did, because maybe 2 years later, Motel 6 started saying, hey, bring your pets, pets stay free. They then had wildlife expert Jack Hanna that was doing, hey, send us emails. They're doing the blog. They're talking with customers about, here's some tips on what to do, what not to do, places you can stay. And I'm like, they might not want to hear about me right now,
right,
or tomorrow, or 5 years, like 20 years later, here we are. And that one litter box has really morphed into different ways to package necessity items. Yeah. It's a cool way to say, hey, clean up after yourself.
Right. And, and the funny thing is, too, it's interesting, as you talk about some of these deals that you're working on now with these major hotel chains, it's because people just won't leave their kids, because they refer to their pets as kids,
yes, they are,
at home. And these hotel chains have now said, well, they're coming anyway. Yeah. So we might as well make some accommodations for them, which has opened a huge door for you.
Well, I'll say this. I always advocate for accommodation instead of segregation, because there's always the splitting of the hairs. Well, this is a service animal and this is not a service animal. Listen, be it a service animal or someone's just pet, it doesn't matter. They still want the respect, and they still want the amenities, and they still want the comforts that they receive to also be an experience that their pet, because animals have personalities. We all know that. Right. Some like, one of my cats, she likes the actual meat from the chicken. The other one prefers the skin. So when I give them what they want, I know what to put in what bowl. They train us. We're really the pets. And I saw that coming down, on its way here. I see it coming from the future. This is how things are going to be. And guess what? Now people can go out and they go and they see their doctor and they're like, oh, you know what? I have anxiety, this or that. And for $100, I'm being honest. Okay. Some people may not want to hear that, but this is what's really going on. They go in there for $100, they give their doctor, and they get a little note for PTSD dog. Right. So the corporations are like, what do we do? But instead of segregating, you should accommodate, because then they wouldn't have to play those games or find creative ways to still bring their fur babies.
Right. So tell me a little bit about marketing and getting the word out there. Has that been an issue for you, or are people just coming to you saying, look, here's what I need. Can you make it for me?
Yes. And and I can be honest, I had no real idea as to how we were going to launch. As you're doing things by faith and you're kind of feeling around in the dark, like, okay, this is what we have. And as we're fine tuning and adding product to our catalog, I realized that LinkedIn is where I should be.
It's where it's at.
Because I had written an entire curriculum called the Hospitality Pet Fundamentals. Mm-hmm. So they need to understand that there's so much information. If you're going to open your doors and you're going to say, hey, we're going to be pet friendly, we're going to charge you this dollar amount, refundable and non-refundable. Well, how do you protect your property? How do you also ingratiate yourself and show yourself to really be hospitable? Hospitality industry is amazing. Some of the kindest people you'll ever meet. People with hearts of gold. They'll give you their shirts off their back. I mean, it's just a wonderful industry to be associated with and be a part of, but they just didn't have the education. Okay, so you can't really clean the floors with bleach anymore, right? Because dogs do this thing, and then you know, potential toxicity issues, cross-contamination issues. How do you provide the proper waste receptacles in the room or to the customer in a beautiful way that you can say, hey, clean up after yourself, and assist them in keeping the property pristine. And that's kind of, you know, what this one cat box turned into. It turned into an entire line of product. And then I realized I take this curriculum that I created, and I had gone down to Miami, and I'd spoken with FIU, who wonderful people there. Big up to FIU. I love how, you know, forward thinking they are in bringing this to, you know, their alum as well as the students that are going to be coming through, teaching them, you know, pet-friendly hospitality fundamentals, teaching them, you know, what do you clean with? How do you greet? The legal issues that they can run into if you're saying, okay, I don't really believe that you have this disability, show me your papers. Lawsuit, you know. So it's teaching them and giving them the fundamental things that they need to build a long-lasting, sustainable, pet-friendly program. And they do that with the knowledge component, and you do that with the proper products that are customized for their customers. And so in doing that, I realized I'm just gonna do it on LinkedIn, because there are some amazing people on LinkedIn. Rupesh Patel, I don't know him, but I've seen his webinars, amazing. Other folks that I've seen on there that are sitting down talking with Chip Rogers and other amazing CEOs in the industry, AHLA and all these other organizations. And I realized it's not just the sale of a product. It's not that. It's the education, so they can understand what it is that they need, and also show them, you know, everybody wants to know, show me the money, show you where that hidden stream of revenue, where that is and how to tap into it.
Right. But, you know, Angela, when I listen to you talk, your face lights up, you know, you're so excited, you know, and it's genuine. It's not manufactured energy. I mean, you are passionate about this. Tell our audience a little bit about pursuing your passion and then letting the money come. Because, you know, I remember having conversations over the years with my friends. Oh, you know, yeah, lawyers make a lot of money. Maybe I'll go to law school. Or, man, doctors, it's got to be tough, med school, but maybe I can get through it. They make a lot of money. No. Are you passionate about medicine, or else it's not going to be fun? Are you passionate about law? It's not going to be fun. You are so passionate about this pursuit. That's what I admire so much about you and what you do.
Well, thank you for that, Mark, because over the years, I know I've pinged you and been like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And then to see it go from just being that little caterpillar to, you know, and you're in this dark space. And as an entrepreneur, let me say to those folks out there that have an idea, your blessings come, your wealthy space will come when you first accept that you are here on this planet to serve and to bring value. And if you can dig into yourself and kind of remove that, you know, some of the things that are common in the human race, which is kind of selfishness. I want to make money. I want to do this for my family. That's a nice idea, but a lasting sentiment and a lasting lifestyle that you can then impart into the youth and into others that you meet is to pursue what you have. You have it inside like a treasure box, and you've got to be willing to allow that ugly piece of coal. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. It doesn't matter what you know. We have the internet. We have people who are willing to help. There's so much out there. So many people who are kind, who are giving. I owe so many people, Mark, so much. I can't stop because people have put fuel in my tank. Like, I remember when I didn't have any money to do anything. Mark Hughes of Sweet Scoop from years ago, you know, I showed him this box. I'm like, I want your litter in here. And he's like, yeah, okay. I said, well, look, I called him back. I said, are you going to the American Pet Product Manufacturing Association down in Orlando? He's like, yeah. I said, can I have just 10 minutes of your time? 10 minutes and you can throw me out. When I showed him the concept and I talked with him, not only Mark, but his brother John, they were like, yeah, you're going to do really well with this. Just keep going. And then just the ups and downs. There is no straight path
Right.
to financial wealth, because many of us didn't come from a background of financial literacy. So there's so much that we have to learn. But if you are willing to see it from up here instead of down here, and not woe is me, I put so much money into this business, and I can tell you, I know I've put more in than I've actually gotten out, but now is the turning point.
Right.
And it's only 20 years later.
Right.
It's only 20 years later. But they said it takes you 20 years to become what, an overnight success?
Right. Right.
I've parked in my car. I've been homeless. Like no one will understand that unless they've had to give from their passion, because your passion is going to scrub away anything that's superficial.
Right.
If it's not for you, you're going to tap out, because it's going to test you.
Absolutely. But I'm glad the passion keeps you going. So tell me a little bit about where we can find Pets to Go International, because I see a natural relationship with airports, hotels, schools.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many easy places to integrate it. I mean, it's almost the sky's the limit for you.
Well, I'm glad that, I always thought you were a man of great vision. And I've always admired that about you. When you were, at my mother's television and my dad's television every morning, I'll come in like, yeah, I know that guy. And so, it's that beautiful part of coming from another state and moving to Atlanta. Atlanta has a magic here about people who just have the desire to push through their passion. So then you have your fakers, right? People who are like, I'm living a good life, but I'm like, not yet. You just keep going. You'll get there. But so for us, we have finally, and it's taken me a while. I like to be very transparent about the challenges. I never want to underscore what I'm saying with, oh, it was easy, and oh, it could just be, and just believe. Yeah, you have to believe, but you're going to sweat. You're going to cry. You're going to pray. You're going to be like, I'm working on this thing. And then it comes to like a grinding halt and life happens.
Right.
And then you still have to, there were so many years, Mark, that I walked past stacks of different designs in the garage, but not one day did I ever curse that thing. I never said, oh, I just was like, okay, Lord, I'll get back. You tell me when it's time for that. I got to go shoot this movie, and I got to go over here and do this, and I got to do that. And I got to get a job. Right. So, and I need to bring in some income. And so with all those things, I've learned enough to at least say, I don't know everything, and no entrepreneur will know everything, but being on the internet, being on LinkedIn, being involved in the associations like AHLA, down in Miami, I love that group down there. The Greater Miami Hotel and Beaches Association, Eric Knowles from the Minority Business Chamber. I mean, there's so many people out there in this industry and in other industries that kind of shake hands that are like, we like what you're doing. Keep going, keep going. And I went from one box to now I have seriously over 70 different designs.
Nice. And
also big boxes that have now morphed into little small gift boxes and bereavement boxes, because I've been working with a vet clinic up in Kansas, and the TLC nursing home. They're going in and helping, especially the elderly and people who are sick. They give their pets a nice place to stay.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's a quality place. Leslie, she's from New York as well. Leslie, she's a vet. You are amazing. It's just the people that I meet.
Right.
And it's drawn me to LinkedIn. And I'm realizing there's a whole world, because I had LinkedIn for years. Never really thought about it.
Right. Yeah, LinkedIn is amazing.
But now the quarantine has said, do it from home.
Right. Absolutely. Well, tell folks where they can find you and how we can keep up with all your amazing success.
Absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn. That's my biggest platform. I really, really love LinkedIn because you get to really talk with people. Like not just an image and not a manufactured presentation, but real people who are busy working in these industries and making their dreams come true. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Angelina M. Cortez. You can find me there. You can just type in Pets to Go International. You'll find me there. But we also have a website. It's www.petstogo.pet. That's PETS, the number 2, GO.PET.
Awesome. Awesome. We'll put that link in the description and we'll keep following your success. And congratulations again to you. And thanks so much for taking the time out to share with us. And I love your transparency. I love your energy. And I love the journey because I've been following you for all these years. And I am so happy for you that this is finally coming to what you envisioned all those years ago. So I'm glad you stuck with it. I'm glad you're doing your thing. And congratulations to you.
Yeah, well, I can tell you it's a win on levels that I had not necessarily realized would be so near and dear to my heart. One of the things I absolutely advocate for, and we actually give a percentage of our sales to the pet rescue groups that are actually out there, boots on the ground. Fur Kids here in Atlanta, amazing group of ladies who go, and gentlemen, of course, that go out, and if you see things on the news where they're like, okay, this person had 25 cats, 2 ferrets, 8 gerbils, 2 poodles, and a small snow leopard in their garage, right? And they go in, and instead of, because we want to bring euthanasia to an end, right? That's really in the hearts of all pet lovers. They're animals that can go to good homes. If they can't afford the adoption fee, for goodness sakes, just check them out. And if they can work, in some capacity to be a foster home, use them for that capacity. But you don't have to euthanize. So I love working with pet rescue groups. And that in itself, I mean, one of the things that makes me so happy, I had so many disposable litter boxes left. I had more cat boxes than one woman should have. I seriously, in my garage and in my storage unit, I think I had roughly about 700 cat boxes.
Wowzers.
It comes with litter, it comes with scoopers, it comes with a treat. And we were able to donate those, to the folks down in South Carolina and North Carolina, year before last, when they had the big hurricane and all the floods down there. And there's a group that I heard about through one of my colleagues in the pet industry, and I could not believe, they were like, we would love to have that product. I'm like, I'd love to give it to you. And I mean, we gifted over 400 cat boxes.
Amazing.
And I said, this is why it's not the money part. It's that somebody has a need. And being a veteran, I also understand that as well. I served this country. My mother did, my dad did. My son is active duty right now in Korea. Wow. And
thank you so much for your service.
Hey, it is a blessing. Yeah. But Mark, what you're doing here, and even us having this conversation, how long you've seen this thing morph into what it is now, and how we're taking off with major contracts with hospitality groups, as well as what we can do to give to the rescues like that. That's why I really do it. I love being able to do that.
Yeah. Living is giving. Living is giving.
All day.
Definitely. Angelina, what a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us.